Hello and welcome back, Cozy Club. The reign of villains this year continues, and that is going to be with Cruella De Vil landing to DSA. Today, we're going to be going over the character spotlight for the one and only evil Cruella De Vil, going over her abilities, her stats, where she fits into, and what kind of character that she is. Now, if you guys don't know, there's a new live-action Disney movie, Cruella, featuring Emma Stone, and honestly, pretty solid movie. Probably one of the best live actions that there's been, and there hasn't been a lot lately. I'm talking to you, Mulan. My friends, Cruella is a very interesting character and a very strong villain support that's going to fit into a lot of different teams, and is kind of the female version of Dr. Facilier. So again, today, let's go ahead, let's jump into her kit and everything that kind of makes Cruella very unique and someone you might want on your team. Cozy Club. So as always, we're going to go ahead and start with the character's stats and the character's abilities. Taking a look at Cruella's stats, you guys can see right here, nothing quite jumps off the page. The speed's at that average 128 that we're looking for. Her offense is going to be slaying the entire battlefield, and her defense is going to keep her alive long enough with that health pool and her passive to do and get the job done as a support character. Again, you can't really see any stats in here that are going to scream OP, and that's also great because there's not also any stats that are horrible by any means. She's kind of in that middle ground and above average in most categories. So Cozy Club, just like all the other support characters in the game, the true beauty of her kit is going to rely with all of her abilities. And frankly, that's the only beauty that Cruella's going to have. But one thing that I really like about her is that she has something unique with each and every ability, from her basic, her main abilities, and her passive, offering something to contribute into the battle. And a lot like Dr. F, guys, think about that big control and being able to get a big AoE heal out on the field. Now, she's all about the summon units, and you guys will see how that kind of works in. And right now, just like Maurice's lead, there's kind of a weird foggy field of what is a summon unit and what kind of qualifies to fit under that role. And at the moment, there's not a ton of them, but she's going to be able to build into the future nicely as I imagine we get more and more summonable units. Now, just like the other support characters, for the most part, you're going to want to have a speed stone on Cruella because her best pairing is going to be with Ursula, and she'll go ahead and provide that offense, and Cruella will get the speed to be able to keep up and control the battlefield. Let's go ahead and break down each of her movesets, starting out with a pretty strong basic attack. Blast this pin. You're going to be dealing up to almost 3,000 damage, and that will be double against summoned opponents like Ursula's eels. And in addition, you'll be inflicting up to one of these powerful, harmful effects. Now, I say powerful because blind for 1 turn, heal block for 2, offense down for 1, or a strong continuous damage is a great thing to have just on a basic attack. And in addition, if you've got a couple other teammates, you'll be able to inflict 1 additional of these, which is great to throw on Hercules like a blind and a heal block to start the battle. All in all, pretty strong basic attack for when you don't have her abilities, and with her having pretty low cooldowns on her main ability, you won't be using this all too much, but when you have to, definitely not bad to target a big, strong opponent. Now, Cruella's next ability is really the star of the show. It's only got a 2-turn cooldown, and pay attention, guys, because this is what really makes Cruella unique and fit in with a lot of different teams. I want you guys to picture Cruella as extremely selfish. She wants everything for herself, including her own teammates' buffs on the battlefield, and that is what this is going to do, restoring a good amount of health to a target teammate, and then she's going to take 3 helpful effects from that target and give it to herself and also 2 other teammates. So she's taking, let's say, an offense up from Maui, taking it, putting it on herself, and then also, let's say, giving it to Moana and Cobra Bubbles. So now Moana, herself, and Cobra all have offense up. So, Cozy Club, this is where it gets juicy. Just like Dr. Facilier having a heal for the AoE team, when a teammate dies, Cruella also has an AoE heal, but it's going to be a lot different, and you can pick if you want single target healing or full AoE healing. Now, for single target, depending on the helpful effects that you transfer, she's going to go ahead and heal a good amount to that one target, spreading those buffs to the entire team. Now, you can also spread the buffs on a certain target to the entire team, but if it's a summoned ally, so let's take Ursula's eel, you're going to instantly defeat that ally, which is going to trigger, let's say, Ursula's blind, and then also heal the entire team for a massive heal, giving defense up to everybody, and also those buffs that were on the eel. It's a huge game changer and by far my favorite piece of Cruella. Now, I'll go ahead and show you guys some tips and tricks with that ability a little bit later. Let's go ahead and move on to her AoE ability, and she's driving like a mad woman with devil on the license plate. It's going to be after them. Now, don't expect crazy damage. This is going to deal about 4,000 damage to the entire team with 50% bonus damage to the opponent with the lowest health. On top of that, you're going to have a chance to kind of disrupt what the enemy is building by transferring one helpful effect from each of the opponents to a random teammate. And if a teammate happens to be a villain, she's also going to restore health. Now, I love this because no matter what ability you use, Cruella's going to go ahead and heal up and keep the healing on your team, making her one of the stronger healers in the game. I do typically like to go ahead and use the basic first or the first special depending on what's happened, and we'll talk about that when we look at the villains team. But after them, it's nice to get a little bit of damage out there. Good to get some healing back. If you use a King Triton lead with some villains in the raid, you can also get some nice speed meter building with this guy. Now, the evil Cruella's got two passives, both of which are very strong, but this next one is definitely going to take the cake. You are such a wit. It's going to go ahead and have a little Dr. Facilier effect that whenever a teammate defeats an opponent, you're going to go ahead and extend the duration of one helpful effect up to 4, yes, 4 teammates, and extend the duration of up to one harmful effect to up to 4 opponents. Now, if the defeated opponent was a summoned unit like Ursula's eel, again, you can go ahead and grant one helpful effect to all villain teammates. First and foremost, the villains are all about control, so there's polymorphs and silence all over the field. And with Cruella, as you destroy the enemy, she's going to be extending the polymorphs, the silence, the offense downs, while extending your own helpful effects like taunt and crit up and offense up. This is really what makes Cruella crazy, and when combined with the right teams, really makes Cruella incredible. For instance, Eve likes to open up the battle by killing Ursula's eels. Well, if you successfully kill the eel, you're giving your entire team helpful effects, and then you're going to go ahead and extend the taunt on, let's say, your Baymax to have a 2-turn taunt or any other taunt in the game. It's just a powerful way to open up the battlefield and just one of the many ways that Cruella can fit into a lot of different teams. I have seen up to 4-turn polymorphs on Hercules, 4-turn silences on Hero. If control is your thing, Cruella is going to be a natural fit. And again, that's kind of what villains are all about. Moving on to her last passive, I Live for the Furs. This character is going to have a 35% bonus defense for each helpful effect. That's going to make Cruella extremely tanky and allow her to support and heal the team for a long time to come, depending on how many helpful effects that she can go ahead and grab from her teammates or just grab from the opponents. And then in addition, this one not so important, but this character is also going to take 50% less damage from summoned opponents. So as you guys can tell, Cruella is a very unique character, kind of like that Dr. Facilier. Doesn't fit just one mold of a team, and that's exactly what I want to show you. Let's go ahead and jump into the different team comps and my personal favorite comp to show you guys exactly the power behind Cruella. Now, this next comp is going to be my favorite by a large amount, and this is the one that I'm currently using in live PvP. It's going to go ahead and utilize Ursula, Pain and Panic, Hades, and then a little bit of protection here. Now, Baymax you can change out for other characters, but this entire team is going to benefit from the deaths of other characters, which is perfectly aligned with the villains. Now, first and foremost, what I do to open up the battlefield is go ahead, use Name Your Price on one of Ursula's eels. That's going to go ahead and trigger an AoE blind. It's going to go and extend and get some things rolling with Cruella, like extending Baymax's taunts, and then you'll have a good chance to go ahead, use this passive with Pain and Panic, and get Hades enchanted right out the bat. Enchanted, empowered, same thing. Overall, it's by far my favorite team, and you can punch up against really any meta team by starting out the battle so fast, having a ton of healing, and really having Hades damage carry the load. What I like about her, though, is you can fit her in just about any faction as long as you have some great summonable units like Esmeralda or Frollo with the Kingdom faction, Davy Jones with the Oceanics, pair her up with Eve and Calhoun. Again, she fits into a lot of different team lineups that can go ahead and buff your own team and then also rain down the debuffs. As long as you've got a lot of controlling debuffs and a lot of helpful effects on your team, Cruella's going to fit nicely, and with Dr. Facilier, every death that you have on the battlefield is going to do so much for your team. I'm pretty excited to theorycraft more and more teams with Dr. Facilier, the downtown villains, even Wreck-It Ralph. I think Cruella is going to have a unique spot. But with looking at everything she offers, she's a bit of a luxury character that you don't have to include into your team, but she is very nice in those villain control teams and offers something very strategic into the battlefield and throws a lot of people off because they don't even know what they're going up against. So Cozy Club, I'm going to continue to test teams with Cruella on my Twitch channel. You guys can go ahead and find the description down below to go and find that. Come say hello, come ask a question. Also, if you have not subscribed to the Cozy Club, it is absolutely free, and over 50% of you guys have not subscribed yet, so come on in and join the club. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the overall spotlight on Cruella. I think there's a lot more to come with this villain, and excited to see how other villains fit in nicely with Cruella and what she can do as a support character. My friends, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here at the Cozy Club. I've had some stuff go on, like I had jaw surgery and other things, so thank you guys for staying patient as I get content out. And as always, my friends, stay cozy.